Enough is enough, and it's time for a change. We're fed up of Farke's favourites, and we're fed up of Aronson. How are you all doing? Welcome back to Where Whites Walk. We've got Chris and Jacob, who are furious after letting that lead slip to Aston Villa today. Hope you are well. Chris, we can't keep calling for Farke out every single week on this channel, but where are you at now? Is it just beyond anger?
Yeah, it's time to go. I think I've been fairly patient in comparison to other fans, but for me, it's just a mess every week. It doesn't seem to be getting any better. And as you've just touched on, he's got his favourites, and his favourites are probably the worst players in the team. So,
yeah, if you've come across the channel before, 20 minutes of Leeds chat every single week across the Terrace Talk network. I'm a neutral. Chris and Jacob pay their money up and down the country, travelling with Leeds fans every single week. And also we've got Sam, an Aston Villa fan, to come on in a second to give his view on that game. And did Farke hand the game to the Villa? What about you, Jacob? You've been really fair, I think, of all the Leeds podcasts that I listen to, and I listen to most of them because there's some really good ones out there. You've probably been the most give Farke a chance fan I've come across, but where are you now?
Completely agree with Chris. I think you take the lead at Forest and we lose that game. You take the lead at home, and there was a stat on the screen which we haven't lost at home when we've taken the lead since April 2023, I think it was. And today's the first time that's happened. I just think the substitutions, we didn't actually play too badly. First half was good, but then again we couldn't capitalise on the momentum we had to get a second. And you look, it's just a case of Villa had the quality at the end of the day to go and win that. So I think the substitutions didn't work, the starting team didn't work, and I just kind of don't know where we go from here.
Let's bring in a Villa fan show and get his view on it as well. Welcome, Sam, to Where Whites Walk. Don't rub it in too much. But what was your take on the game?
It was a weird one. I think you lot brought the game to us very well. At times, it honestly felt like watching it's like a Sunday league game, very scrappy at times, especially in the midfield. But it was one of those, it could have gone either way. I think watching the game, you deserve the draw at minimum, I think. But, it's in these games where we need to go and get another 10%. And luckily for us, we had the quality today in front of goal, a nice flick by Rodgers. Then a free kick just ultimately won us the game. But it's not like we were much better than you. It wasn't like you didn't have chances to come and hit us, because honestly, it was quite a nervy watch for 90 minutes, especially knowing the past games Villa and Leeds have had, especially going back to the Championship. You always give us a tough game. Ellen Road, never a nice place to go to, no matter who you support. But we definitely had to graft out to get the 3 points today. And honestly, very happy we did, especially against such a tough team.
Let's talk about the free kick, shall we, Chris, for a second? People comparing it to a Meslier positioning. Do you want to call out the goalkeeper here, or has he built up enough brownie points for it not to be called into question?
No, I think from where I was sitting, it looked quite bad. But then I've since seen replays, and it's sort of just straight down the middle, straight next to him, and he's just stood and watched it go in. And it's a fantastic free kick. It's obviously something they've worked on, but I think it was travelling probably about 3 miles per hour. So how he's not reacted to that, I have no idea.
Okay. Sam, you're a Villa fan, so you won't care too much about Leeds, but do you, based on what you've seen from other teams so far, and you were down there yourself, obviously, not so long ago, do you think they've got enough to stay up?
Personally, I really want you to. I think having Leeds in the Premier League is such a big bonus. Seeing how you played a few weeks ago against West Ham and comparing it to today, you've come such a long way. I think even in that short amount of time you took the game to us, which I thought against West Ham, maybe you didn't as much, but you grew into that game. Just like today, you hit us straight from the front. You pressed us. You knew we wanted to play out from the back. And I definitely think you do have the squad depth to do it. Seeing the players that came off the bench today, something like a Nongto in my opinion, should be starting. I don't know why he's not. Maybe, there's something going on there, but I think you definitely have what it takes to stay up, especially looking at the teams around you, like the West Hams, the Wolves. I think they are so appalling this season almost that I think it's really there for anyone. But I think, and I honestly hope, and I hope that you do stay up.
Sam, cheers for dropping on and giving us those words. Really appreciate it, mate. Good luck to the Villa. We'll see you for the reverse fixture. In March. Cheers, mate. Thanks for that.
See you later. Bye, guys.
Oh dear. I mean, Jacob, if he was to be sacked, is there anybody who naturally you'd want to come in? I mean, I'm hearing Bielsa chats again, and every time we're not going to escape that, are we? Every time there's this conversation, but who would you genuinely want to replace him?
There's not a name which springs to mind, but I just think someone who knows the Premier League. Farke's track record in the Premier League isn't good. He's been relegated with Norwich every time he's managed in the Premier League. We need someone who's going to pick the best players every week, not the favourites like Aronson. Who's going to make good changes that are going to impact the game. And not saying that Lonzo and James didn't. It was just, it was just mental how he brings Tanaka on. Yes, Tanaka got booked, and then he brings him off, and Tanaka was brilliant. So I just think we need someone who's got a bit more Premier League experience. Is gonna make good changes, and worthy changes as well. That's gonna have enough to keep us in the Premier League. I don't think it matters how. Yes, it's obviously nice to see attractive football being played, but at the end of the day, for us, it's all about staying up. So no matter how you get the 3 points, that's all that matters.
Chris, he's not going anywhere anytime soon, is he? If we look at what happened at Rangers, as we mentioned, looking at last week's podcast, that it has to get a lot worse than this before they even consider making a change. So, should we just get behind him the best we can, and hope he learns from his mistakes with his selections?
I mean, I think it's difficult because I've heard rumours, and it might just be rumours, that he was given so many games now to keep that point per game tally up, which would have mean he would have needed 4 from Villa, City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. And obviously he's got nothing from today, which means if that is true, he needs 4 from, City, Chelsea, and Liverpool. And I can't see us even getting 1 from that. Maybe Liverpool because they're on bad form, but it's hard to get behind him, I think, because today is an excellent way to look at it. Like, we were so good in the first half. I thought Villa made 2 changes at half time. It completely changed the game, and then we just sort of didn't do anything, and we just waited for it to get worse and worse and worse, and then we took probably one of our best players off anyway, and just left the problem person on and just moved him into another position. And it's hard. It's a really hard watch, especially when you're in the stadium, because you can feel everyone just sort of on edge. So for me, I've been patient, but I can't get behind it anymore, because I know next week we'll see Aronson start again. Dan James will probably be on the bench. Nonto will probably be on the bench, albeit, I wouldn't drop Okafor anyway, but Aronson, I'm lost for words, really.
I want to stick up for Aronson, Jacob, in a little bit, because he seems to have lots of critics, and then he can pull out a really good game when he's under pressure. But is it the inconsistency then that fans are getting on his back for?
Definitely. I think for me, watching him today was he's not bad at progressing with the ball. Like, he finds the space quite well, but there was a moment in the second half where he's done that perfectly, and he should have played Okafor in, he should have played Nemetra in. Instead, he just ran into, I don't know who it was, just ran into a Villa player and given it back, and then they hit us on the break and nearly score. So I think he'd be a brilliant player if he had that final pass, that end product. I think he's not too bad dribbling with the ball, but he's just not good enough. You don't have that all-round game like Nonto and James have the finish, they have the crossing ability. Aronson just doesn't have, what they have, really.
Right, starting 11 against City then, Chris, should feature who?
I would start Okafor and James on the wing. I still think Nonto is obviously going to be lacking a bit of match fitness, and Okafor's not done anything to deserve to be dropped. And I would, depending on Statch's injury, probably go Tanaka anyway Tanaka, Longstaff, and Ampadu in that three, and the Metro up top, because he knows how to finish. He's got 2 in his last 2 starting. So I think he's scored in 3 out of the 4 games he started. I can't quite remember if he started 3 or 2 at the start of the season, but either way, he's doing well. And obviously Calvert-Lewin is fantastic at holding the ball up, but he's lacking that attacking, that finishing ability. So Aronson and Calvert-Lewin, stay on the bench and goes to the bench for me, really.
Jacob?
Yeah, agreed. I think, I need to see Tanaka. Tanaka was good today when he came on. Don't know, like Chris said, if Stack's going to be fit enough. And Metro for me, I think he just does a lot more. I think we've seen, like Chris said, his that goal he scored against Forest was a great finish. And he's fairly quick as well. He makes some decent runs. And goalkeeper wise, I think I still stick with Perry. Against City anyway, Haaland's it's a free hit. I think it's just keeping the goal difference down. So I don't think, I don't like to sound not confident or pessimistic, but unfortunately, I think whoever you have in net, you're not keeping 3 or 4 out really.
Okay. Can you let us know what you think in the comments? I mean, as we were talking to Sunderland fans earlier about that want to drop Trey Hume and Chris Rigg from, the side they're not getting a look in. I was saying, look, about all the players that got them there, they're now non-existent, and you've got to feel for Farke a little bit, I suppose, and that look, he's got you here with the, not the biggest budget in the world, and he hasn't really been backed in the summer like we talked about, and we don't really know whether how much of this side is his, and I'm probably the only person even remotely connected to anything to do with Leeds now which wants to give him another chance. But yeah, you guys spend your money and watch him, and I don't. But do you get that, Chris? Do you feel sorry for him?
I feel sorry for him in some regards. He made it very clear he wanted another attacker. He didn't get that. But he does have some perfectly good wingers on the bench that he isn't starting, he isn't utilising. I don't blame him for we spent a lot of money on Bijol, Perry, Bornyao, James Justin. 2 of them have barely kicked a ball. 1 of them hasn't kicked a ball. Bijol's now back on the bench. Perry, I'm not convinced. I think Darlow's a better keeper based on what I've seen this season. So that's almost 40 million down the drain on one player, and only one player's actually playing. So, you can't blame him for that. But I think you can blame him for his team selection, and you can blame him for his subs. And a lot of that is what is costing us.
Right then, let's move on. We've been doing the A to Z of Leeds in the last couple of weeks. We're up to letter G this week. So let us know the best player that's ever played for Leeds beginning with letter G. We'll come back to that in a second. There's been lots of dodgy goalkeeping in the Premier League the last couple of weeks and in the Championship, which we've been highlighting. So it's got us thinking about the worst ever goalkeepers that we've seen. So we want to put to you, who's the worst ever goalie that you've had in a Leeds shirt? And let us know in the comments. I know you've had some cracking ones, but don't be mean and say Melier. Where's he rank? Jacob, who's in your lifetime, who's the worst Leeds goalkeeper you've seen?
Kiko Casilla, absolutely awful. You think, you're signing a player from Real Madrid, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. And I think his first game might have been Rotherham away. That's really testing my knowledge now. But he was just like clumsy. Like really clumsy that game against Sheffield United when he got sent off. I just never rated him. And then he obviously got that 8-match ban, and that's when Melier started coming into the team. And I just think, what a waste of all the hype. He was just rubbish.
Okay. Chris?
Throwing it back a bit, Paul Rahubka. And I only say that because I was there at the game when he got subbed off at half-time against Blackpool, where it was just one howler after another howler after another howler. And I don't think he played that many games for us, but I do remember him making an error in every game that he did play. So it was a very short stint, but definitely for me, probably the worst keeper I've ever seen in a league shirt.
Okay. If you were there as well, let us know in the comments. So if you can beat that, has there been a worse goalkeeper than any of these two mentioned? Let us know. Right, fellas. Yeah, so that's a G. Who gets in for you? Any of you?
I'll kick off. Eddie Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole Grey family, isn't it? It's all Leeds, yeah.
Yeah, don't really need to say much on that. He's a legend at the club. Was doing the LUTV commentary for up until a few years back as well, and just lives and breathes Leeds United. So for me, he is Mr. Leeds United.
Yeah, can't get better than that. Jacob, any honorary shouts?
Yeah, I think Eddie Gray's a brilliant shout. Maybe sticking with the Gray dynasty, I'll go with Archie.
Yeah.
I think the way he progressed into the team and how he just looked a natural player was just unbelievable. I mean, played at right back, played at centre mid, just unbelievable for me. Being that young as well, it's kind of similar age. I mean, I'm 2 years older than him anyway, but I think it was nice to see a player that young come into the team. He's Leeds. He's Leeds, so it was just great to see him come to the team, and that goal against Leicester. Even though it took a massive deflection, that'll always go down in the memory for sure.
Sure. Do you think Gruev will ever get close to the 8%?
I've got him on the back of my shirt, so funnily enough, I might do.
Goodmanson's probably got more chance.
Yeah.
All right. Who have we missed? In the comments? Let us know. Of course, you'll give a shout out to these next week. Thanks so much to you two. If you've only just found the channel, it'd be great if you can sub. There's tons of other Leeds content there, but if you can squeeze 15 minutes into your week of where we look back at all the Leeds content, that would be absolutely amazing. Cheers for now. Enjoy the City game if you can this weekend. We'll be back to review that cricket score next week. See you then.